like that. It's a lot of money, why are you mad like that? Ooh, I'm in my new bag, my bad. You ain't get too bad, my bad. First of the month, I'ma run it back.
Camara Drive-In. It's the coach. You're watching Madden Football on EA Sports. Coming up, 2017 Offensive Rookie of the Year, Alvin Kamara. Fresh off a big performance a week ago, as it'll be the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New Orleans Saints. With that, let's get over to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
From a city that's played host to 10 Super Bowls, here's a look inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. Today we hit Week 10, and we've got a good one in store between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. Fielded about a yard deep, and the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. On play action, it's Bridgewater. And he finds Tyler Croft. 7 yards to pick up on the pitch and catch.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball in the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Looking to throw again on second down. Bridgewater, Deion Jones, able to record his 5th sack of the season.
Brandon, if I'm an offensive coordinator and I see an all-out rush like that, I file it away because I'm going to use their aggressiveness against them as this game goes on. I'm going to hit them with a screen soon.
An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8. Play action now. Bridgewater. And he gets it to Funchess complete. And he takes this thing way down into Atlanta territory. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. Throwing, Bridgewater, and the grab by Croft. And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5. Only a yard on the completion. It's 2nd and goal. And just one man in the backfield here. That's Kamara, 2nd and goal. Let's get a quick look at the Saints offense.
And the play of this offensive line is going to be so important in this game because we saw the sack a minute or so ago. They've got to be able to give their guy time to throw. That means communication and being physical is vital. Otherwise, this could be a long game.
It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down. Can this defense get the stop on the opening drive? Here's 3rd and goal. From the gun, Bridgewater. And they're going to get him. They bring him down to the sack back at the 16-yard line. That was Patrick Peterson from his cornerback spot whirling in for the sack. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
In the end, the opening drive, Charles, does yield points. Maybe not the touchdown that they wanted, though.
Yeah, but bottom line, they wanted to get something out of that drive, and they did that. 3 points, they won't turn that down at all.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. On 1st and 10, Herbert looking middle, and it's incomplete.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
From the 24, they'll go again on 2nd and 10. Now the Georgia Southern man, it's Matt Breida. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. 15 yards, first down, Atlanta.
A good run there off right tackle in an old-school NFL football. The right side of the offensive line, often known as the nasty side. The left side, usually the technical side. Kind of reminds me of the old Atlanta Falcons 2009-2010. That's how they constructed their offensive line.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Operating from the gun, Herbert. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 35. Nico Hardman, the intended target.
Well, they didn't exactly show patience there, did they? Just down a score, they come out firing right away and compound things by throwing an interception. They put their defense in a really tough spot.
Check the team. Check the team.
Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. He shook his head right when he released that throw. He knew it was going to be a little off target.
Yeah, the excitement got him on that one. Wasn't able to control the fact the receiver was open, and it would have been an easy throw.
On 2nd down, Kamara. Shedding the tackle. And he's going to get this inside the 30. 12 yards there, good for a Saints first down.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
Bridgewater on 1st down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Deion Jones in there to get him, and that is sack number 6 now for him on the year. So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Bridgewater. Quick hitter here, it's complete. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. On 3rd down, Bridgewater. Getting this into the hands of Turner. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Of course, the catch was nice, but how about what happened after? Able to stay on his feet and gain all that additional yardage. So many of these slot guys, I think, have running back in their background.
Bridgewater to throw it. And he's going to go down. Sacked right around the 17. Credit the sack to Von Miller. First down, a bit of a disaster, and now on 2nd and goal, back even further. To throw is Bridgewater. Funches has it complete. And down inside the 10 here before he's out of bounds right around the 7. That catch good for 8, but still, it's 3rd and goal now.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do on that one is the receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
3rd and goal for Bridgewater. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller in there yet again. What else is new? He continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks.
He's the NFL sack leader coming into the game, and now that's 2 more that he's added to his total.
He wants some separation from spot 1 and 2 in that sack category. So scores on their first 2 possessions, but 6-0, so field goals probably not what they were hoping for.
Man, you're exactly right about that. Not what they were hoping for, but they should be happy that they have points on the board. It almost feels like that old slow and steady wins the race, doesn't it? In this case, though, they want to be slow and steady now, but get explosive later and put the points up on the board.
And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. They'll start on the ground with Breida. Give him 2 yards on the gain there, and it will take us to the end of quarter number 1. 6-0 our score after 1. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8.
Check, check, Lucky, hey, Zoo.
Here's 2nd and 8. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
Let's go. 60 Pittsburgh. 54. Not 54. I hope you brought your left because I'm about to take you to school. Under Christone, Travis. Hey, Delta. 26. Begin. Switch it. Come on, switch it. Shoot.
On 3rd down, McBride. It's a foot race. Touchdown, Falcons. A great play there. His first touch. Down on the year as his guys can now take the lead with the extra point. Well, they were just hoping that run would pick up the first. They got the whole enchilada.
And I'm so used to teams on 3rd down, doesn't matter how far they need for a first down, throwing the ball. Instead, they run it, and as you said, picked up the first down, and then some, and then some. In fact, everything, all the way for a touchdown. Terrific play.
Fielded about a yard deep. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. Time to take a glance into what we've seen so far from getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left. We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team, and that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders. That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak can have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going. Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. Now a first down carry. It's Kamara. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. From the 36, Bridgewater, nowhere to escape, and he goes down. I'm starting to wonder if this offensive line just simply doesn't like him. I mean, they've given up 6 sacks in this game. He's had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and obviously nowhere to hide. And all those sacks in the first half, this is just complete domination. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. Had to pass there, 3rd and long on your own side of the field. Just couldn't come up with anything. That's why teams always talk about having to win the early downs, meaning you've got to gain yardage and set yourself up for 3rd and short, because when it's 3rd and long, the odds go down significantly trying to pick up the first down, even throwing the football. And he'll take this across the 25 before going out of bounds. So out come the Falcons now. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again. And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. 12 yards is the pickup. Good for a first down for the Falcons. Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble. On first down, Herbert. And a quick throw here, that's complete. It's a gain of 13 and a first down for Atlanta. I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender. Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down, executed it to perfection.
Hey, seam 6. Seam 6.
56 is the mic. Hey, defense, let's go. Pick it up, G.
Check. Crouch. Crouch. Defense.
Throwing on first down. Herbert. Quick hitter here. It's complete. And he'll get it down here to the 43.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
He's crashing. He's checking crash.
2nd and 5. Open man is Kirk, complete. And this is going to be another first down as the tackle's made at the Saints 19. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. It's a nice pickup of 12 yards, and it gives them a 1st and goal.
They were not fooling around at all, were they? 2nd and short, and they brought out the heavy package. Almost felt like the super heavy package against that defense, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they expected that much beef up front, and it turned into an easy first down conversion. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress. And he will take it in for a Falcon touchdown. Matt Breida, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Falcons push further out in front.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
Fielded about a yard deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The offense and Alvin Kamara heading back onto the field. And for him, it's been pretty limited involvement. Down on the scoreboard, maybe time to turn to this guy.
And you know me well. Winning games to me means starting with the running game and continuing to press the running game. Maybe you go away from him a little bit now, but bottom line is he hasn't touched it enough to make a difference.
They haven't established that running game yet. The question is, will they? And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It'll be a Saints first down on a gain of 16 yards. Now he's hit, and Bridgewater loses the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with exactly a minute to go before halftime. They come up on 2nd and long, and the pass protection just has not been there this afternoon.
All day, every day, any day.
Here's Bridgewater, and he's going to go down again. Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. 3rd and long now after the sack, and we'll see if Bridgewater has a response. On the ground, Kamara. Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll mean a call to the punt team as it's 4th down. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. Here's Thomas Morstead now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And this will be taken at the 13. We'll call that a 49-yard punt, but a net of just 39 following the 10-yard return. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. Getting set to go again as we look at the back heading onto the field again. And he's well on his way to a 100-yard game. He's already more than halfway there. We're only in the second quarter.
And what I've always loved about running backs is they'll tell you
nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
I think normally we would talk about this more with basketball players and football players, but let's adopt it in this case. He's a stat sheet stuffer.
Had the interception earlier, now a sack. What, he just needs a touchdown for the trifecta.
That's about all he needs, and he's going to go for it.
Looking to throw. Herbert, he's going to fire. He's got a man, complete. Now whistles and a timeout with 3 seconds left in the first half. The big play has him all the way out near midfield for 1st and 10.
Hey, Foxtrot.
56, Mike, 56, right there.
Get it.
The final shot before break. Herbert got his man. That's the Pro Bowler Julio Jones. So we have reached half. We now proceed to the start of the second half. The Falcons back to receive. They've got the lead, and they'll get this football as the second half gets underway. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies, try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that. Maybe a good spot to take a shot. Here's 2nd and a yard from the 34. On 2nd down, a run with Breida. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. 14 yards there and a Falcon first down.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down.
Mike 5-4. I'm coming after you. Show it up. He's coming. Double up. He's coming.
From the gun, Herbert on the move to it, and he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Cameron Jordan make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Back to throw. Herbert. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
Well, this at least is the right idea. I think they've got to get the tight end more involved.
He had just 1 target in the first half, incomplete. Now incomplete here with the first target of the second half.
Yeah, should not stop them at all from going back to him, though. Find him.
Go.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Herbert. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up. So good work there on the defensive side for the first drive of the second half.
Yeah, and until their offense can get into rhythm, their defensive players and staff have got to say to themselves, we've got to make it work. We've got to stand in here and make sure nothing else happens until our guys start moving the ball.
Now the attention turns to the Saints offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues.
Yo.
Bridgewater from the gun on 3rd down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Von Miller, my goodness, make that now 5 sacks for him in this ball game. Really turning in an incredible performance.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
A very good return that time. 18 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Atlanta now coming out on the field. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
And down he goes at the 45 after a pickup of 9. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. 2nd and 1. And he almost had it defensively. Could have been a game changer there in this second half. Instead, it's 3rd down.
Pretty nice coverage there, but a missed opportunity for an interception. Let's face it, a lot of these defenders, they've got it all. Speed, athleticism, hands, a little bit questionable.
Watch the shit.
They'll try to pick this up on the ground with Breida. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. Able to get what they need to keep the drive going with a 6-yard pickup on 3rd down.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? They looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to them. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you should have a few men in the box there.
56, right there, 56. Oh, you got deep? Mike's 56. Mike's 56. 5.
Ready?
On 1st and 10, Herbert. Campbell making the catch. A good pickup there, 26 yards. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. He can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Hey, dude.
Looking to throw. Herbert toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. Well, that's a perfect example of how he was named NFC Defensive Player of the Week from last week's game. He is just all around the football right now, isn't he?
That he is, and it's funny because I talked with the coaching staff about drills that they do in practice, and one of them is called matching hands. And as soon as that hand is launched by the quarterback, you throw up the opposite hand and match that hand with the QB, and oftentimes you're able to knock it away, as we just saw there. You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. So they put together a good little drive there, but ultimately stalling out in the red zone.
Yeah, I know a lot of people look at it as a little bit of a negative. They didn't get 6 points out of it, right? Didn't get the touchdown. But that's actually okay. They got 3 points. Able to give their defense a little bit of rest, let them settle down over there. So all in all, to me, that's a good drive.
Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
Throwing on 2nd and 8, Bridgewater. And they will take over at the 29-yard line. He couldn't get the hook up there that time with Thomas.
This interception will go on the record of the quarterback, but as a receiver, you've got to understand where you are in the field. Middle portion, you know it's going to come in hot. Square your body to the quarterback and be ready to make the catch.
Hey, Delta.
On first down, Herbert. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's second down.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
Hey, echo.
Throwing again, Herbert. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a pick, and he'll return it to the 24-yard line. Mecole Hardman, the intended target.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. The target that time, Michael Thomas. And that'll bring up second down. From the 24, they'll go again on 2nd and 10. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Von Miller in there to get him again. That is sack number 6, one off the NFL record of 7. 3rd and long now after the sack, and we'll see if Bridgewater has a response. Out of the gun, Bridgewater. And he is going to be taken down. And that should be the final play of this third quarter. Von Miller in there for the 7th time in this game alone, and that ties him with a late Derek Thomas for the most sacks ever in a single game. 4th down, they're going. Bridgewater. And that is intercepted. Or was it? Wait, they'll say no. No interception. He did not keep the feet in bounds, apparently, so that's just going to be an incompletion. So they really needed points here in a 2-score game. Could not come away with anything there on 4th.
And while we know they're a little bit discouraged here, they can't check out of this game. You and I have called a good number of games over the course of our career where we've seen these types of situations. Teams get the ball back, and that miracle does occur. So they can't let that dream go just yet. They have to get stout on defense here.
Yeah, right now really hoping for a turnover. Looking to throw on 2nd down. Herbert shrugs him off. To the end zone, but it's incomplete. The Pro Bowl wideout Julio Jones, his intended receiver. And it's 3rd down.
They certainly thought they had him surrounded and probably thought they were going to get him on the ground and get the sack, but he was able to elude that. And even though it threw it incomplete downfield, if you're a defensive back, you're loving the pressure that you're seeing from your front.
To throw on 3rd down, Herbert. And he's got his star receiver. It's Jones for the Falcon touchdown. Julio Jones, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Falcons push further out in front. They had the lead in the 4th, but still passing. Finding the big target for the touchdown. Now that lead grows even more.
Everybody gets to join in the fun. You know, it doesn't have to just be the wide receivers catching touchdown passes. The tight end doesn't just have to do just the dirty work inside. He gets a chance to get into the end zone as well.
Fielded about a yard deep. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 as he's taken down right at the 20. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And last time this unit was out here, costly turnover, and then that turned into 6 points. They've got to make amends.
And how many times have we sat in meetings with coaches and they use the term complementary football? Offense take care of the defense, defense take care of the offense. That didn't happen on the last possession. This is a chance for them to pick themselves back up and help their team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can recoup and recover. From all the way up at the 38 now after a good start to the drive. Bridgewater now. Drops this off to Kamara out of the backfield. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. 12 yards there, good for a Saints first down. This quarterback now, 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. Bridgewater now from the 50. Looking for Thomas, but that's intercepted. Trey Flowers picks it. 20, 10, 5. And he takes this one back into the end zone, and the Falcon defense has a touchdown. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
Fielded about a yard deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been had he simply taken a knee.
Here we go. Here we go.
The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started. And following the pick six, and they had decent field position in throwing that pick six. We'll see how they attack this drive.
And I think all you say to your guy is, listen, let's just take care of the football a little bit better. Make some better decisions on this drive, and they'll probably help him a little bit with maybe some really high percentage throws early to let him get settled back in.
But they told us they've got confidence. That's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all. They just want to make sure they get things settled down a little bit for their offense and give their defense a little bit of a chance to rest.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Throwing is Bridgewater. It's caught by Funchess. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is thank the guys up front, the big defensive line, because they've kept them clean, so to speak. Not letting blockers get to them, allowing them to run to the football and keep that running game bottled up. That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
From that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. Eli Apple up from his corner spot to make the play. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. Give him 3 yards, and now they're left needing a conversion here on 3rd and 6.
Mike, 56, right there, right there. Now!